Steve Dabbs. I'm with Care Funding Solutions. I'm here with Carrie Ann Reinquist. She's with Options for Senior Living. I'm also here with Rob Elder, and he's at Wallick and Volk Mortgage. So Carrie Ann, tell everybody why we're here.
So we are here as a part of Care Funding Solutions Arizona Care Alliance, and we are doing the Let's Get to Know part of our advertising, what we do out there for everybody. And so this is really important to us to get out there in the community, because from 2020 and blending in, there's a lot of people that have not been out and about and they need help. And so Arizona Care Alliance is a toolbox of vetted resources, and so we want to bring those amazing people to you. So today we're going to let's get to know Rob and what he does. And before he does, I just want to give a little story to tell you how much this man is just got a really special place in my heart for what he does. He and I were in a networking group together. We just barely met each other. I found out what he did, and he called me a few days later and said, I have some people, I help seniors find placement and resources. And he said, I just got a referral and talked with the family, and he dug in with them and said, I'm not really sure if I'm the right fit, but I think you are. And when he tells you what he does, you will understand why ever since then it cemented how much I care about this man and the kind of person that he is, because normally the folks that do what he does would have snatched that up, got whatever needs to be done in his arena, and then sent the referral over to me for later. But he cared about the family and what was right, and he put them first. And that is how I do things, that's how Steve does things, that's how we do things at Arizona Care Alliance and with all our resources and referral partners and friends. So I'd like to very much introduce Rob, and let's get to know you.
Thank you. It's actually an honor to be a part of Arizona Care Alliance. There's many lenders out there. However, I come from a long background of finance background, and doing the right thing first is not always what everybody does. So it's a delicate situation when it comes to seniors and their ability to pay for their at-home care or extended care or otherwise. And home equity conversion mortgage is a great resource and access to funds that without wasting, or not wasting, but duplicating your other resources, and gives you an option to have a better way of life and better living month to month. It's not the right choice for everybody, but I'll make sure to give you all your options and lead you in the right direction.
So what do you hear as the fears that people have when they hear reverse mortgage? Because they weren't that great. And it's a whole new world now, and there are so many people that need that help and want to stay in their own home. So what do you hear from them as the fears and the difference now?
The biggest thing is and I get it, obviously, a reverse mortgage. I don't like to call it reverse mortgage. However, it is a type of a reverse mortgage. I like to call it home equity conversion, so it allows you to take your equity that's in your home and pay off an existing mortgage, all the while not having a payment and setting up a line of credit. Now, when people say reverse mortgage, oh no, I don't want a reverse mortgage, they really relate to that, to what it used to be some years ago. Reverse mortgage made some huge strides as early as 2017, and also even last year, that as far as compliance concerned, to help protect seniors. Everything is to their advantage. Everything has limitations, and they're all designed around protecting the senior themselves and their family. That's the other thing that I get asked is, well, I heard a reverse mortgage is going to hurt my estate or my kids, and that's simply not the fact anymore.
So what's the biggest objection people have?
I would say the biggest objection is probably that. How am I going to affect my kids when something happens to me? What happens to the home? Do they have access to the home, which they do? If the home, for some, hopefully you you outlive the value of the home, if you will, and the home eventually you have more owed on the home than what it's worth. I mean, that means you took all the advantages out of it, and even at that, your family does not have to pay any deficiency in the mortgage. So it's insured, FHA, and you cannot hurt your family by it.
Yeah, so basically the home is yours until you decide to move out of it, period, the rest of your life, correct?
Correct, as long as you live in that home and it's your primary residence.
Now, have you ever had anybody say, hey, I've got this home that I've got a lot of equity in it, and it's too big? So have you ever had anybody take maybe some of the equity out of that house and put it in, utilizing a reverse mortgage in a second home? Have you ever had them do that?
They can utilize it in a second home, providing.
I apologize, let me rephrase that. Meaning they sold the one home and used that money to buy that additional residence, is what I mean.
Correct, yep.
Okay.
And that is called a HECM for purchase, where they take their equity in their home that they are downsizing. And the beautiful thing about that is, you know, typically a rough estimate is about 54% of you'll have to use 54% of that equity to buy a home. So what I mean by that, to use simple numbers, if a house is $300,000, it'll cost you about $150,000, and still not have to have a mortgage payment. And any other additional funds or equity you have available, we can utilize and set up a line of credit that actually continues to grow until you need to utilize the money. So it's another savings account, if you will, that you can save money at the same rate as what the mortgage is.
I got you. And the home is appreciating, so therefore you're getting more money on that too, right?
Correct, correct.
I've had some seniors that have done reverse mortgages and then they sell the house, and their thought is no matter what, when they sell the house, they get nothing out of it, even if the house is appreciated. And so that's the thing to educate people about, is that whatever it's appreciated past the amount of where you took the, the mortgage, that they do get that appreciation, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Absolutely. If you know, it's a double, I don't want to say double-edged sword, but it's a double benefit, because if the house gains equity, then something happens to you, then your existing kids or estate makes the decision. Refinance the house and keep it, sell it and take the equity. They have those options. On the flip side of that, if you outlive the market and say the market hits a crash for some reason, like 2008, 2010, and now all of a sudden the home is not worth what the balance is, it doesn't go against your estate or your kids. So you have the benefit of both worlds.
And they don't call it a mortgage, obviously, if it's not worth what's owed on it, right?
Right, it's insured, it's federally insured, and the house goes on the market, it sells, and the insurance pays the difference.
Yeah, in other words, if, let's say you had a value at $350,000, you got a reverse mortgage, and because of the market bubble, if you will, it drops to $250,000, they're not gonna call you and go, hey, you gotta sell your home and move out. That's never gonna happen, correct?
Not a chance at all, especially, you're still living in the house, so you're still with us, right? So as long as you're living in its primary residence, you're there, and your line of credit continues to grow. So even though you're losing equity, your line of credit will continue to rise and continue to grow based on the rate of your mortgage. So it's a win-win, really is.
Thought comes to mind, let's say they wanna buy a house down in Rocky Point or up in northern Arizona as a second home. What's to stop them from doing a HECM loan? HECM loan?
HECM, yeah.
HECM loan, and then use that money to go buy that second home. There's nothing to stop that, right?
If I'm hearing you right, so they have a home that they're gonna
Fully paid for.
right, they're gonna sell it and downsize. They're gonna buy.
No, they're not gonna sell it. They're gonna stay in the home.
Okay.
And they're just going to pull out some of the equity, in effect, through a reverse mortgage, HECM mortgage, okay?
Yep.
And then they take that money and go up north and buy a summer home.
Yes, that is available. So basically, you would take a home that's already paid off, we would turn it into a HECM, home equity conversion mortgage, and utilize the funds necessary and max out the cash out at time of closing. If in fact the numbers align and that's enough for them to purchase the second home, then so be it. It just depends. Everybody's situation is different, where they want to buy that second home, if they get enough cash out up front, or if it's more beneficial to leave the equity in the home, or if it's more beneficial to set up a line of credit. And that's the goal, is to make sure that we know all these answers or needs and wants of the client, so that we can set it up right the first time.
And that's one of the things I think when I talk to my clients is fear. Is that, like, when they go with me to go look at senior living environments, when their family said, you know what, you can't live at home anymore, we want you to have a full life and we want you to be cared for. And in their minds, they think that means I'm going to the nursing home I saw my grandmother at. They don't understand that unless we expose them to all the options that are out there, they don't realize that they can move to a big community that has happy hour and all these wonderful things and be supported. And it's exposing them and getting that information out so that people see that it's very different now. And I think that's absolutely what is in your arena a stopping point.
Right.
So I love the information and I appreciate what you do. So now that you all know, you can see that not knowing him and him getting a client, he could have absolutely just kept them, did a reverse mortgage, and then sent them to me where they could utilize those funds to pay for caregiving in the home or senior living. But that would have taken that family on a journey that they didn't need to go to because they were already going through so much. So he sent them directly to me because he felt like that was the right thing to do. And so now you know the whole story, and now you have gotten to know Rob.
I'd like to just add one last thing, and I'm done with what I have to say, but I'm an accredited investment fiduciary, and as a fiduciary, I literally have to do what's in the right interest of my client, period. And in the right situation, I think that the HECM loan is an outstanding decision to make. Now, as you put earlier, it's not for everybody, but when it fits, I think it fits really well. And again, as a fiduciary, I often will say, hey, you might want to look into that.
Yeah, I have we have a client that we're helping right now, and there's a lot of thought put into it. There's a lot of family talk put into it. There's a lot of financial advising, talk going into it. And at the end of the day, this process is going to free up and alleviate so much pressure and stress that she is currently having right now, that alone is going to allow her to live longer, just by freeing up that financial stress. That it is the best decision.
Yeah,
So.
no doubt. Yeah, good job.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Rob.
And we very much appreciate it. And if you'd like to get a hold of Rob and have him talk to you or a family member and explore what this looks like, you can reach him through the Arizona Care Alliance website. And I very much say, please at least talk to him, because don't take that option off the table unless you really dig in about what it can help you with.
Yeah, thank you. And by the way, I'd like to say one thing about Arizona Care Alliance. If you're a resource provider of some sort, like a mortgage person, or you work in the industry of some sort, caregiver, and you wanted to have us do a video like this, reach out to Carrie Ann or I, and we'll come and do a on-spot video for you too, okay? So thank you very much.
Perfect.
All right.